Ever imagined owning your own Formula One team, hearing your name blasted across grandstands as your cars scream down the track at over 300 kilometers per hour? The glamour, the glory, and the speed seem irresistible. But behind all that high-octane excitement lies a brutal truth. Formula One is one of the most expensive, competitive, and cutthroat industries on the planet. In this episode, we take you deep into the economics of owning a Formula One team, what it costs, how teams make money, and why even billionaires struggle to keep pace. Getting on the Formula One grid begins with a single eye-watering number, the entry fee. This is not a symbolic gesture or a simple registration charge. Under the latest Concord agreement, any new team must deliver a lump sum of $450 million wired before a single car turns a wheel in anger. The fee, often called the anti-dilution payment, is designed to compensate the 10 incumbent teams for the dilution of their share in the sport's commercial revenues. In 2020, that price tag stood at $200 million. But as team valuations soared past the billion-dollar mark and global Formula One revenues climbed, the bar was raised. Cadillac's 2026 entry set the new standard at $450 million, with every incumbent team pocketing $45 million from the newcomer's arrival. But the spending doesn't stop there. Before any race weekend, a would-be owner faces another massive bill: capital expenditure. Building a competitive Formula One operation from scratch requires a facility that rivals a small aerospace company. The numbers are staggering. A new headquarters, wind tunnel, state-of-the-art simulator, and manufacturing lines can easily demand $100 million to $200 million. Andretti Global announced a $200 million investment for its Indiana base, while other teams have reported similar figures for their technical centers. This capital outlay covers the backbone of the operation: design offices, engineering labs, composite shops, and the logistics infrastructure needed to run a global race team. By the time a team is cleared to race, the owner may have committed more than $650 million just to stand among the world's elite. These are not the costs of chasing a dream. They are the price of admission to a sport where financial muscle is tested long before the lights go out on Sunday. Securing a spot on the Formula One grid is only the first hurdle. The real challenge comes in assembling the capital stack that turns an entry into a functioning team. Owners and their finance chiefs must pull together funds from every possible direction: private equity, manufacturer backing, debt, and strategic partners, each with their own demands and timelines. In recent years, the preferred model has been a blend: at least 30% equity from lead investors, often a billionaire or a financial group, matched by a major commitment from an automotive giant. General Motors, for example, pledged hundreds of millions to Cadillac's Formula One project, with funds released in tranches tied to engineering milestones. These milestone payments, held in escrow, protect both the team and its partners. If a chassis isn't ready on schedule, the next tranche stays locked away. Debt fills the gaps. Short-term loans, sometimes secured against future prize money or broadcast revenue, bridge the cash flow between entry fees and facility construction. Hitech's 2025 bid leaned on a $50 million mezzanine loan, repayable only if the team survived its first season. Sovereign wealth funds and regional sponsors sometimes buy in for a minority stake, as seen with Panthera Team Asia's approach. But without a manufacturer's long-term commitment, lenders raise the cost of capital, and the risk of failure goes up. Each investor looks for a different prize: global brand exposure, technology transfer, or the hope that team valuations will keep rising. For the owner and CFO, the job is to balance these competing interests, lock in funding before a single car is built, and keep every dollar accounted for. Only with this financial foundation in place can a team face the relentless costs that follow: salaries, research and development, logistics, and the never-ending race to stay competitive. Inside every Formula One team headquarters, the numbers drive every decision. The FIA's cost cap, now set at $215 million for top teams and $180 million for new entrants, is more than a rulebook line. It is a daily constraint. Every dollar must be accounted for, and the margin for error is razor thin. About a third of cap-eligible spending is funneled into research and development, wind tunnel hours, computational fluid dynamics, and rapid prototyping. This research and development engine, devouring $60 to $80 million a year, is what keeps a team in the hunt for a lap time. Yet it is never enough. The technical department always wants more, but the finance office has the final say. Personnel costs run close behind, swallowing another quarter of the cap. Engineers, mechanics, and strategists, each salary is scrutinized, with headcount trimmed or redeployed as the season unfolds. Meanwhile, logistics and race operations must fit into a shrinking slice, forced to do more with less as the calendar expands. Manufacturing and facilities, from chassis production to spare parts, compete for the remaining budget, often squeezed by mid-season upgrades or unexpected repairs. Some costs sit outside the cap entirely. Driver salaries, often $20 to $50 million for a single star, are exempt, allowing teams to splash out on talent without breaching the ceiling. The same goes for senior executives and marketing. This separation creates internal pressure should a team invest in a faster car or in a marquee driver to attract sponsors. The CFO's spreadsheets lay out the trade-offs, but the final balance is always a gamble. In Formula One, every budget line is a statement of intent, and every dollar spent is a risk weighed against the relentless pace of the sport. Every race weekend, the financial battle intensifies long before the cars reach the starting grid. Each team moves about 25 tons of equipment, including chassis, spares, electronics, and pit gear, across continents, threading a needle between speed and cost. Sea freight is the default for heavy components, but when a new front wing or a last-minute upgrade is needed, air freight becomes unavoidable and expensive. In 2022, a sudden air freight surcharge added up to $3 million to a single team's logistics bill, erasing months of careful budget planning in one blow. The operations chief, eyes on the weather in Japan, faces a choice: risk late arrival of a new floor by sea, or approve an air shipment that blows a hole in the season's logistics budget. The CFO, watching the numbers tighten, knows that every extra cargo flight eats into funds earmarked for aerodynamic development or staff bonuses. Decisions like these play out in real time, under pressure from unpredictable customs delays, shifting race calendars, and the relentless push for performance. A single missed connection can force a team to run outdated parts, losing tenths of a second per lap, translating directly into lost prize money and sponsor exposure. When a key shipment is delayed, the engineering team scrambles for on-site solutions, sometimes 3D printing brackets in a hotel room just to keep the car on track. The financial hit is not theoretical. In the 2023 Singapore round, a last-minute airlift of replacement suspension parts cost one team nearly $2.5 million, pushing their logistics spend for the season over the planned cap. In Formula One, logistics are a high-wire act. Every freight decision is a gamble, every delay a potential disaster. The engineers and finance officers are locked in a constant trade-off, balancing the hunger for speed against the cold arithmetic of survival. On race day, the cost of being late or just unprepared is measured not just in seconds, but in millions. Formula One's commercial engine runs on a complex revenue-sharing structure shaped by the Concorde Agreement. Every year, about 63% of the sport's total commercial income, drawn from global broadcast rights, race hosting fees, and league-wide sponsorships, flows directly to the teams. But the split is anything but equal. A portion is divided evenly, granting each team a guaranteed baseline. The rest is distributed using a performance-based sliding scale. The higher a team finishes in the Constructors' Championship, the larger its share of the prize pool. For the 2026 season, the champion can earn around $40 million in performance bonuses, while the team at the bottom may see just $5 million. Historic giants like Ferrari and Mercedes collect extra legacy payments, negotiated long ago to reward their status and bargaining power. Layered on top are sponsorship deals, now more lucrative than ever, thanks to a global audience surge and the Netflix effect. Top-tier sponsors pay upwards of $45 million per season for prime space on a leading car, while mid-grid teams rely on a patchwork of smaller deals to fill budget gaps. Every dollar earned is already spoken for, mapped against relentless costs and the constant threat of falling behind. A single crash can erase months of careful planning. When both cars are wrecked, the repair bill can climb past $2 million overnight. Insurance will cover about 80% of that loss, but the payout lags by 4 to 6 weeks, leaving teams to dip into already thin reserves just to stay on track. The shock is not limited to the garage. If a title sponsor pulls out mid-season, the cash gap can reach $5 million or more, forcing teams to cut staff or delay upgrades. Even with contingency plans and credit lines, these hits can threaten payroll, development, or even the next race. Yet owners rarely walk away. Since Liberty Media took over in 2016, the sport's total revenue has grown from $2.5 to $3.7 billion. Team valuations have doubled in less than a decade. For many backers, the long game is about more than profit. It is about global branding, technology, and the hope that the team's value will keep rising even if the balance sheet stays red for years. For every owner and chief financial officer, the decision to stay is a calculation. Absorb the shocks, play for the upside, and trust that surviving the lean years will pay off when the sport grows again. Today, even billionaire owners face a brutal calculus. Survival demands more than passion and prestige. The true F1 battlefield lies in the balance sheet, where legacy and innovation command staggering costs. In this arena, winning is fleeting, but the price of entry is permanent. Who's really racing, the drivers or the financiers?